welcome back. Giving your kids different piggy banks, great idea. It gives them that concrete idea. It actually gives them something that they can touch and feel and really understand what they're saving for, and making sure that they have those concrete ideas of what each of those piggy banks stands for and what the money in each of them means is so great, because you're able to give them that vocabulary in order to, make it stick in their head. Another piece of vocabulary, though, that people don't always understand is a short sale and why people do it. Mike McFarland joins us, who's negotiated over 200 short sales and helped many families who have helped many families navigate through the current market and through the short sale process. Welcome, Mike. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. First time. We're happy you're here. Right off the bat, you had talked about two different types of clients that you really help with short sale negotiation, and whether it's distressed or strategic. And I was hoping you could just give an idea of what each of those means.
I would say that the 75% of traditional homeowners that have to consider a short sale is going to be a speed bump in their economic history, a medical event, or something unforeseen and or unplanned for that causes them to have to reconsider the contract and purchase of their home.
And so these are people who, they can't afford it.
Correct.
When it's really said and done, they can't afford the house they bought, and so now they need a way out of it, essentially.
Yes, the hardship letter is the pathway to show a lien holder that it's legitimate, and the case for that in one or two paragraphs supported by a financial statement. If we think about when we qualified for a loan to buy a house, a short sale is going to be the reverse process, including all of that paperwork and documentation.
Which can be a lot.
It can be an awful lot.
So how does somebody know if they are distressed enough? We know in the mortgage world when you buy a house, there's an element of, do you make enough money? Do you have enough assets? Is your credit good enough? Is this like the opposite? Is your credit bad enough? Do you make not enough money and do you not have any money now?
Yes and no. Yes, the credit issue is that they can't afford the monthly mortgage. They're going to decide to allocate that money for another paramount event in their life, whether it's medical, whatever, and how they're going to move forward if and when the short sale is completed, or if they allow it to run the foreclosure track and the bank takes it back. So we try and help them see the timelines that they're working in as a borrower/homeowner, and also the options that they have during that period and after, what might happen if they make different decisions.
And so it's kind of this, I guess it comes to like a critical mass. You make a decision one way or another, and it sounds like a lot of the distressed people, it's almost like the decision is being made for them in some ways.
It is. It's circumstance, and they need to make decisions of whatever their monthly income is, how they're going to best use that. And that's a personal family decision I leave to them at their home, and connect with them in follow-up phone calls, emails, and just gently walk them through the information gathering process. And if they choose to work with me, great. If not, I'm always here to help them or whoever they do choose.
So then talk about the strategic side. That's people who really can afford to continue making their payments.
Yes, they can, but something has happened in their portfolio, or here in the Pacific Northwest, it's usually a job change. So if they're relocating to outside of the geographic area, they have to make this decision. If they're underwater on their house, their employer typically will not make up that difference, but will support them in a legitimate short sale and keep everything on track in that format.
What about people who just want to sell their house and don't owe too much? Is that just not the type of clients you're working with, or?
I have quite a few clients that talk to me and have the reserves to make up the difference at escrow of whatever their equity growth perception was going to be or their time frame was, and they've just come up short and they want to sell, and they're ready, willing, and able to move up into a better neighborhood, a larger price point and leverage the market to be able to do that. A short sale doesn't allow them to do that, but if they have other portfolio assets that have generated the funds to make that up, and they can leverage into that neighborhood, the school district, the elementary school, and be able to move forward that way, they'll take a loss on house A to get house B. Right.
I mean, there's people also out there who are just going through a short sale even if they can't afford it. I mean, there's that strategic side as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a gray area because the lien holders, and there's hundreds of them now,
sometimes they don't even know who holds the money, holds the note.
We're happy if the left hand knows what the right hand is doing half the time, but it's all manageable. The strategic short sale still has to qualify with the hardship, the finances, things like that, or the lender or lien holder is going to ask for a contribution to make up the difference. And it can be from a couple $1,000s to nearly $100,000.
Just kind of depends on that much. So before somebody goes through this process and they come to you and they're thinking, short sale may be the way to go, whether they need to or it's strategic, and they don't need to, and they're just trying to get out of it, I guess, and for lack of a better term, what type of information should a person have before they're going to go make these decisions?
Legal advice, keep me out of trouble as a realtor. And it's out there, whether it's you're Binging it or Googling it or family friend. The information is typically out there. What's not out there is the time frame that they're working in of when they miss their last mortgage payment to when they're going to have a court-ordered notice to the foreclosure courthouse steps. And that's what I help with the initial meeting at the kitchen table with clients, is kind of set that up so that they know how to keep moving.
And so that legal counsel before, and I'm not going to make you tell us what goes through it, but that's kind of their gateway to working with you. You want to make sure they understand the legal ramifications before you help them sell a house.
It is. It's very important because we have a lot of moving parts in any real estate transactions that families are involved with. You have the seller's family, the buyer's family, two agents with a take-home opportunity for wages. And if we can keep it in the community and move it quickly, that's really my job as the mechanic of the situation. And for the homeowner, again, it's about getting legal advice for their particular situation. I deal with a lot of divorces, passing away, events like that. I've seen just about everything, and then tomorrow the phone's going to ring with something new.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what are the biggest questions you get then from clients? We're here with Mike McFarland, broker with Coldwell Banker Bain, discussing short sales. Mike, we have just a couple minutes left before we have to go to break, but what are some of those frequent questions you're getting?
Most of it is, how much is the amount going to be? And I can't answer that until we market the home, get a qualified buyer, have a contract, and send it in to their lien holder and start negotiating for that information. And occasionally the bank will offer a deed in lieu, and the borrower is off the hook. Sometimes we go all the way to the finish line. It's really a very difficult business to be in, and more and more agents are stepping up and learning how to do it, so it's a better field.
When you talk about how much money it's going to cost them, that ends up being negotiable in some way. I mean, hey, look, I know I owe you $100,000, but I'm willing to give you 4 or 10 or 50, whatever the number is. And is that kind of how that how much money it's going to cost? Is that really where that line is drawn in the sand, is through negotiation?
It is. Washington State is one of 19 states in the union with a zero deficiency judgment on the foreclosing lien holder. And we can talk about that in the next opportunity. But it's state-specific and federal-specific. So, again, every situation is different of what's going to be involved. And usually it's 2 or 3 meetings to get through that.
And so you end up really helping people educate themselves or get educated or learn before they go and make these decisions. And that certainly would seem like, I mean, these are $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 decisions sometimes.
It is. And as the captain of the ship, my job is to make sure that what the clients are doing is going to be fruitful for everybody else involved at the end. We're not making novice decisions up front together that will prevent us from all getting to the finish line.
Well, certainly getting to the finish line is the key to that. I mean, getting to the end, finishing up, and potentially getting rid of your house for a lot of people, and just getting out from under some of the stress and burdens that it can hold for people these days.
That's right.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for joining us again. Mike McFarland, broker with Coldwell, Banker, Bain. When we come back, you may have a house that you've been thinking about selling. You've been thinking that you're underwater. Did you know there's a new refinance program that can help you? Ryan Leopold's going to join us, and we're going to discuss it. We'll be right back.